Breaking news in the world of Hollywood entertainment. We are interrupting your regularly scheduled programming because what has just surfaced about Liam Neeson, one of the most iconic, beloved, and bankable action stars of his entire generation, is absolutely devastating. We are talking about a man who built an entire career on strength, on resilience, on never backing down. And tonight, the full, heartbreaking reality of Liam Neeson's life at 73 years old is coming to the surface, and it is almost too painful to process. Career, personal tragedy, industry whispers, health, isolation. It is all unraveling, right now, in real time. Stay with us, because what we are about to break down in the next few minutes will leave you shaken. This is one of those stories. Let's set the stage. Liam Neeson is 73 years old. He is a man who, by every outward appearance, should be on top of the world. An Oscar-nominated actor. A global action franchise icon. The man who gave us Brian Mills in Taken. Who voiced Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia. Who delivered one of the most gut-wrenching performances in film history as Oscar Schindler. By Hollywood standards, this man is a legend. Full stop. But here is what the headlines are not telling you. Here is what the carefully managed PR machine has been quietly suppressing. Behind the scenes, behind the action hero image, behind the box office numbers, behind the stoic public face, Liam Neeson has been living through a tragedy so deep, so compounding, that it would break most ordinary people. And now? At 73? The cracks are showing. Publicly. Undeniably. Let's start with the loss that never healed. In February 2009, 15 years ago now, Liam Neeson's wife, Natasha Richardson, suffered a traumatic brain injury during a ski lesson at the Mont Tremblant Resort in Quebec, Canada. She fell. She seemed fine at first. She even declined medical attention initially. 2 days later she was gone. Natasha Richardson was 45 years old. She was the love of Liam Neeson's life. His partner. The mother of his 2 sons, Michael and Daniel. And Neeson did not get to say goodbye the way he needed to. He has described the days surrounding her death as a complete nightmare, arriving at the hospital, seeing the monitors, knowing what the doctors were telling him, and not being able to accept it. He has spoken in interviews about how, in the months after her death, he would jump on his motorcycle and ride. Just ride. Because he did not know what else to do. Because grief that size does not have a name. He lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. He has admitted, publicly, vulnerably, that he visited grief counselors. That he threw himself into work because stillness felt unbearable. That for years afterward, he would still instinctively pick up his phone to call her. And then remember. This is not gossip. This is not tabloid speculation. This is a man. Broken. Still standing. Barely. Now here is why this matters beyond the personal. Because this is not just a story about grief. This is a story about what grief does to a career. To a legacy. To the decisions a person makes when they are running from pain. Industry analysts and entertainment journalists have been quietly observing a pattern in Neeson's post-2009 career that tells a very specific story. Before Natasha's death, Neeson was on a trajectory toward prestige cinema royalty. Schindler's List. Michael Collins. Kinsey. Batman Begins. He was a serious actor taking serious roles. After 2009? Something shifted dramatically. He pivoted, almost overnight, into becoming an action franchise machine. Taken dropped in 2008, just months before Natasha's death. Its massive success gave him a new identity. And he leaned into it, hard. Taken 2. Taken 3. Non-stop. Run All Night. The Commuter. Honest Thief. Memory. Marlowe. Retribution. Film after film after film. Back to back. Almost relentlessly. Hollywood insiders have described this pace as unusual even by action star standards. One entertainment veteran, speaking on background, put it bluntly. Liam Neeson has been working like a man who is afraid to stop. And that reads as tragic, not impressive, when you understand the context. He has publicly acknowledged that work became his coping mechanism. His escape. His structure when the world felt structureless. But there is a cost to that. A real, measurable cost. Critical reception of his action output has been, to put it diplomatically, uneven. Many of his recent films have landed with critics as formulaic. Recycled. A pale imitation of the Taken spark that made him an unexpected action icon in his 50s. The Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes scores on several of his recent releases have been painfully low. Audiences have started skipping his films in theaters. Numbers that were once reliable are now unpredictable. And here is the brutal part, Liam Neeson knows this. He has said so himself. He has hinted in multiple recent interviews that he is growing tired of the action genre. That he may be done with it soon. But done with it to do what? That is the question hanging in the air. At 73, with the industry he helped define for a decade quietly moving on, and with the grief that has shaped every major decision of his adult life still present, what comes next for Liam Neeson? And the answer right now is genuinely unclear, but we have to go deeper. Because there is a layer to this story that does not get enough coverage. And it is the most heartbreaking part of all. In 2014, 5 years after Natasha's death, Liam Neeson gave an interview to The Independent that stunned the entertainment world. He confessed that he had not fully processed his wife's death. That grief had become such a companion that he was not sure he knew how to live without it. He compared himself, his emotional state, to someone addicted to the feeling of loss. Not in a clinical sense, but in a deeply human one. He said losing Natasha had fundamentally altered who he was as a person. Not just as a husband. Not just as a father. But as a man. As a human being walking through the world. And then in 2019, in another volcanic interview moment, Neeson admitted something that caused a global firestorm. He revealed that years earlier, in the immediate aftermath of a traumatic event involving someone close to him, he had walked the streets carrying a weapon, hoping to provoke a confrontation. He admitted he was consumed by rage. By a primal, revenge-fueled instinct he struggled to describe as anything other than ugly and shameful. He said he shared this not to justify it, but to illuminate it. To open a conversation about rage. About how trauma manifests in men who are taught never to show vulnerability. The backlash was immediate. Severe. Career-threatening. Hollywood circles went quiet. Projects were reconsidered. The public conversation turned savage. He was labeled by some as dangerous, hateful, unforgivable. His defenders argued he was doing what almost no public figure ever does, telling an uncomfortable truth about who he had briefly become in a moment of unimaginable pain, and trying to reckon with it honestly. But the damage was done. And it lingered. It still lingers. Because here is the terrible irony: Liam Neeson, a man whose entire post-2009 film career has been built on playing characters who seek violent revenge for the loss of someone they love, revealed that he had once lived that impulse in real life. In the shadows. In the grief. Art and life had collided in the most disturbing possible way. And the industry that had been profiting from that exact emotional blueprint on screen recoiled from it in real life. That contradiction, that hypocrisy, is one of Hollywood's most uncomfortable recent chapters. And Neeson has had to carry it. Quietly. Alone. So where does Liam Neeson go from here? At 73, the road ahead is genuinely complicated. On the career front, he has confirmed he is stepping back from the non-stop action film schedule that defined the last decade and a half. He has suggested, carefully, without full commitment, that he wants to return to more character-driven work. To drama. To material that challenges him. Whether the industry will offer him those opportunities is another question entirely. Hollywood has a brutal relationship with age. Especially for men who have been typecast, even successfully, in a particular genre box. His sons, Michael and Daniel, have both entered the entertainment world in their own ways. Daniel, who goes by the stage name Daniel Neeson, has taken on acting roles. Michael has worked behind the camera. There are reports that Liam Neeson is quietly proud of this, and that family has become an anchor for him in ways it perhaps could not be in the immediate years after Natasha's death. But those sons also carry their own grief. They lost their mother before they were fully adults. They have watched their father process that loss through 14 years of nearly non-stop action films. They have their own complicated relationship with this story. As for Natasha Richardson's legacy, her memory has never faded. The film community that knew her remembers her as one of the most gifted actresses of her generation. Her absence is still felt. And Liam has been careful, always careful, to keep her memory alive in interviews, in the way he speaks about his sons, in the way he carries himself. On the health front, sources close to Neeson have noted that he remains physically active and committed to maintaining the physicality that his action roles demanded. But at 73, those demands take a different toll than they did at 57 when Taken launched him as an unlikely action icon. And the question of emotional health, of whether this man, who has faced the kind of loss most people cannot fathom, has truly made peace with his past, remains genuinely open. He said once in an interview that he believes Natasha is still with him. That he talks to her. That some mornings he still wakes up expecting her to be there. That is not a man who has moved on. That is a man who has learned to move forward. One day at a time. One film at a time. One breath at a time. And at 73, that is both the most human thing imaginable, and the most heartbreaking. Because a man of his stature, his talent, his contributions to cinema, deserves peace. Whether he has found it. Whether he ever will. That remains one of Hollywood's most quietly devastating open questions. Now listen, What we have covered today is just the surface of this story. The full, in-depth breakdown, the timeline, the insider details, the career analysis, the family impact, the full context of every major moment we touched on tonight, is available exclusively on our website. For the complete breakdown and exclusive updates on this story and others just like it, visit our website right now. The link is in the description below. Click it. Bookmark it. Because this story is developing, and we are going to be updating it as new information surfaces. You do not want to miss what comes next. The link is in the description, right below this video. Go there now. If you are new here, welcome. This channel covers the breaking news, the untold stories, and the hard truths behind the most famous names in history and entertainment. Every single day we bring you the developments that matter. The stories the mainstream press buries. The tragedies behind the headlines. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on your notifications. Because tomorrow we are breaking another story just like this one, and you are going to want to be here for it. This has been your breaking news update. We will keep watching. We will keep reporting. Stay informed. Stay engaged. We will see you in the next one.